chagua katuse. Yeah, yo, yo, yo. Yeah, yangu buseninda na nangula chilo. Oke bose tulive na kuyalelo tepcho baye. Amita pendwa ya vintu ifisume vyoto kula kuibukisha. Kana depotimo wimbo wa temenu wa katongi. Abazunga batita katongi nakula kuibukisha kateka. Kaibuku muna kapona neseko shove pamenso. Yangu ama umebaya iyaba ume. Iyaba ume.
Kateka wabantu twakulira lelo twakulira shika kukonke milimo shove
ale filamba fiena minta pengo sile eti kume mo kulondolo la vale lilo wingi
Isa kwa wingi mwakwete Isa kwa wingi mwakwete Mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
Katushi muchi mokege Wali bomba kale Lomba mwatu jatuleli laki Mpanga chiba
Penda Mpanga mwine Mwaya mwine Ide lalila
Yangu ya mama ume Ala nacho mwabye Mama bebele Bataba Mwabazunde kumupanga mwine Mama ya mama ume Oja bantu baraya no tipi Ya baba ume Ukuyo mtu sieni bila mbapwe Mumenzo pwevo Ila yo bala ili ya baba ume Nangu tulalaba Oja tuliva sila tifuevo Mingi tualaba batinochiwe Nangu tulalaba Uti tualaba batinochiwe Mama Ukula bebyo wachitobu wiki Imisebo wapagiri okuwiki Ukuchinjo lusako kumoneko busaka Mama Utituala basiyani Chagua katuse
Lelo bwacha bakamba mukyalo kyeswi kya Zambia kyaweka enjoy. Abantu bafo bakamba kule kumunfumbwe. More than 20 people balebe pati ni babiri. Bagamba. Fish to arufyanya. People have died. Mumino yabakapokola. The police killing people. Why? In the same government bagamba. Abductions have happened. Bagamba, if you're not with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change big man. Fish to Arfianya Pakubika office. Fish to Arfianya. Why me? Missing. Achani Ruba Mwaicho and Dizona. Where is why me? HH, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Wachila mo HH. Wala tupwisha bega kutupwisha bagamba. Katwale kyo kulanda big man. Oh, you think? Maina watata. Sambe tuwasevana. Bagamba. Waneza tuwapweni. Kuchala chetu Icha Zambia Twamona mwempwa Bagao Twamona mwempwa Nama abductions bagao Ubuteko toaleta Wadulete lama Amazala mush No you can take Wala ipompa today No you can take Apa nomba bane Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Wakuvota bane Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Wakufuatika Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Wakufuatika fuatika Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Wenyu tayakwa fwe Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Aikona mani Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Itayakwa fwe Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Yakuliati kwenyu Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Mayona batata Mayona batata Bayuthi Tentwisuli amenso Tentwisuli amenso Batusendela nomba batwipaila na hope Yesu Endika chagwa lungu watubela tinani mikwatila plan B Nomba tuwadishiba plan B abamino ya kualesa Bantu banga abala fa muchalo chesu cha Zambia Nibanga abantu abala ababducted muchalo chesu cha Zambia Bambire kuli jeje banda Nibanga abantu abala ba prison Abena chitotela chilangwa Wote baba prison netunguru shina shimbi Muli one government ya kwa HH Abantu na bafa mweleza Aikata nomba baikata na kulietika chakwa lungu atukwatile plan B Abakubo vya mufulo big man Mufulo pa mufulo Vilabine matzendela etika chakwa lungu Apa nomba bane Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Wakuvota bane Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Wakufuatika Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Wakufuatika fuatika Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Wenyu tayakwa fwe Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Aikona mani Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Itayakwa fwe Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo Yakuliati kwenyu Mufulo pa mufulo Mufulo pa mufulo HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to Asebana, this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, they fought so hard to put this country on the map, to put this country where it is today. No man would destroy this country because we believe in unity. One Zambia, one nation, and we shall together we will change, and we are going to change this government. My name is Blaze Zambia.
Thank you very much. Today is 7th October, Tuesday, 7th October 2025. 7th October is very significant internationally. You remember that on 7th October there were attacks by Hamas on Israel where 1,200 people died, Israelites died, and capture of numerous hostages. Since then, Israel unleashed a war on Gaza, which has resulted in the death of over 69,000 people in Israel. So today is 7th October. I thought that you could mark it. We are privileged today. We are hosting a young leader, youth activist, emerging politician who's brave, courageous, and his social media postings, have stirred I think inspiration and courage from many people. I'm hosting Chabota Chilinda Mwetwa. Chabota, good day and welcome to today's program.
Good evening. I don't know if I should say good afternoon to you, Ambassador. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you very much. Now, we are glad to host you. We are glad to host young visionary leaders. We are glad, to hear from you. Your postings have excited the country. Face some fear for you because your statements and remarks are quite very bold. Your short videos that you make are but inspirational because you're analytical, you gather facts, and you offer an opinion in a candid and I think fact-based. For that is quite an inspiration. But who is Chabota Chilinda Mwetwa? Let's start from there before we go into details.
Well, Chabota Mwetwa Chilinda is, I would say, is a patriot that wants to see his country become better than it is now. I am the only child in my family. My father is late. He's been late for a very long time. I'm raised by a single parent. I have had what I could say a very difficult, beautiful, and somewhat inspiring upbringing. I have grown up in a home where I was, I think I would say, smothered to death. I was loved by my mother, who has been a very strong pillar of my life and who has basically educated me to the point where I am today. And I have been a lover of politics, psychology, as well as just geopolitics. Basically, whatever is happening around the world, I have always kept my ear to the ground to know what is happening around me. My mother always told me a good person is one that is aware of their environment at all times. So I always have that awareness of what is going on around me. And I am now aspiring to be a member of parliament for Kabwata constituency. This is something that I always thought I would do, but I just never knew when I would do it. But this is the right time, and I think God has a way He works around things and knowing when to place you in a certain position. And I would say I am very humbled. I understand the privilege I have now that I can speak to a very large audience and they listen. And I understand that I have inspired many, especially the young people, to be interested in politics, to take part in politics. And being part of the movement for good governance has brought me so much joy and I would say pride that I have finally contributed, or I'm finally contributing to this country's.
But tell us, did you always want to do politics? Did you always become an activist? What were your passions? What did you want to become before you ventured into politics?
Okay, before I ventured into politics, my passion was filmmaking. I've always wanted to make movies. My dream was always to study in the USA at the University of Southern California. This is one of the best film schools in the world, and it's located right in the middle of California, where blockbusters are from. Basically, Hollywood is in that location. And the reason I wanted to get into film was because I was inspired by lots of movies to do with, let's just say, I love sci-fi. My favorite directors have been George Lucas, the filmmaker of the Star Wars franchise, and James Cameron, the director of the Terminator movies, Alien, and the recent James Cameron's Avatar films. So I've always wanted to do film, but sadly, being in a country where we do not have a film school, I couldn't go abroad because film schools in the USA, I'm sure you know this very well, Ambassador, simply because you're in the US at the moment. Film school is not cheap, or basically studying abroad, especially in the USA, is not something that was, you could say, is achievable for many. And coming from a humble background, I couldn't pursue my dream in that way. I had to find a way on how I could get around. So before I could get into film, I studied audio-visual at the Teveta Institute, which is just in Long Acres. I did a 6 weeks program there. I obtained a distinction, and I have a certificate in photography as well as video editing and video shooting. So my passion has always been film, But politics was always something I always wanted to know, because I knew that at some point film and politics can still merge. My dream was to make a movie based on Zambian politics, or even the history of how Zambia gained its independence. So film is where I would say my passion has been for a very long time. Politics is something that I recently got into, but I was already aware of what was happening. Just speaking out is something that I've been doing for the past 1 year or so.
What agitated you to begin to make those short videos and short commentaries on the state of our country? You joined, I think, forces and views of people that felt that the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema was failing. But what inspired you to begin to use social media and to recognize that social media was a powerful tool?
Okay, what agitated me, what set me off was last year. I believe that was in that was last year in April, I believe, when load shedding, when there was an announcement to say we are going to start experiencing load management, as they called it at that time. And what set me off, because you see, being in the photography industry, you know, electricity is everything. You cannot work without electricity, okay? You have a studio setup, and when you don't have power, you basically won't be able to work. So when we went into load shedding, I found it quite strange when ZESCO, just a few months later, had explained to say we had enough, or rather excess power, that we will even have to export some of it. Then 2 months later, only to tell us, oh, there is not enough electricity, so we'll have to, you know, we'll get now load shedding. So I found it quite strange that, okay, these are two conflicting statements they're making. 2 months ago, barely 2 months ago, they told us we have enough electricity. Now they're telling us we don't because of poor rainfall. And from there, I kind of ignored it at that point. And I was like, okay, to run my business, to make sure it continues running, let me buy a genset. And when we bought a genset, me and the guys we worked together in the photography business, after buying a genset, only to be told that the ERB will be revising or reviewing fuel prices every month, which meant the price of fuel would go up. So now I got frustrated to say, I don't have electricity. I try to use alternative energy, which is genset, and the price of fuel goes up as well. So I started to air my frustration slowly with just mere posts on social media, just, you know, complaining. This is an administration that promised it would end load shedding. Now it's using drought as an excuse when it condemned or critiqued the previous administration when they said the reason we are having load shedding at the time, it's because of drought and our hydro power plants couldn't run at full capacity because of the drought we were experiencing. So, you know, things just kept on building. So I would say it all started with the load management, or rather load shedding. And that set me off. And after I started paying close attention, I noticed there were just so many things that were falling apart under the UPND administration. And I kept on speaking about them. And people kept on telling me, like, you know, you analyze very well. I think you should continue doing what you're doing, because most of us, we wish we could actually speak out like you do, but we don't have either the courage, or we don't know, we're not confident enough to speak out. So from that moment, that just, when people are listening, that inspired me more to even speak out. And this is where I am today now.
Speaking out in our country comes with a terrible and unfortunately inevitable risk of arrest, risk of beatings from the UPND. They can just attack you and accuse you of insulting the president. Also, you have shrunk opportunities, because as soon as you are seen as a critic of government and of probably the president, people begin to shun you. deny you opportunities? Has any of those affected you? Have you learned that there's a cost to speaking out?
Yes. When I started, I didn't understand what the risks were, because you see, as a 90s kid, I was born and raised in a democracy, okay, where you could speak freely. And during the PF, we just used to say anything basically online without any worry that somebody will be knocking on your door and trying to arrest you, or you might just go missing. Okay, so I didn't understand, because this was early on last year. Things were not as intense in terms of arrests. And then August came. Not August, that was June, July came. I remember people started getting arrested. JJ Banda went missing. So I started to panic a little bit. I'm like, okay, what have I gotten myself into? And should I stop? But you see, my mother always told me to say, look, bravery is not the absence of fear. Bravery is having fear but still doing the right thing anyway, despite what may happen, okay? So my mom has been that strong pillar that told me, look, you are not doing anything wrong. You're not committing a crime. You're not inciting violence. You're not insulting. You're not harming anyone. All you are doing is speaking truth to power. It's your democratic right. And from that moment, my fear just went away. I saw people getting arrested around. I spoke about people getting arrested for simply just speaking against the government, seditious practices. That charge was now being weaponized. Anyone was being slapped with it. And from there, I could have stopped. Many people would have stopped to say, okay, I'll be next. There was always a time I felt like I might be next. I will be picked up very soon. But I continued, I just reached a point where I said, you know what? If they're going to come, let them come. It's not like I've committed any crime. I'm a law-abiding citizen with no criminal record whatsoever. So there is nothing to fear. If they come, they will be just arresting a concerned citizen, which is very undemocratic and autocratic at the same time. So I never feared from that moment, and I just continued speaking. And even up to now, I will speak and speak. Nobody will stop me, because at the end of the day, it's a democratic right that I believe I should just abide by. Breaking the law would be me keeping quiet and seeing injustice thrive. That is where I would be breaking the law. But in terms of arrests, I have seen somebody close to me, Abraham Rooney, is based in Kitwe. He was arrested whilst he was just taking a stroll in Kitwe town center. And they didn't tell him why he was arrested. But when we heard the news, we spoke out, and he was released the next day. But he has come back and continued and said, hey, look, if we're not committing a crime, we shall continue speaking. And we will offer checks and balances to this administration, whether they fear criticism or they have egos that are fragile as a twig. We will continue speaking, because at the end of the day, we are doing nothing wrong. So yeah, to me, I'm never going to stop.
Kabwata. Why Kabwata? Why have you set your eyes on Kabwata?
It's simply because I was born and raised in Chilenje, and Chilenje ward or residence is in Kabwata constituency. So I believe that was just the more logical direction to go to, a place I know, where people know me, who they can. I went to school here, born here. I have friends here, and I know the challenges and every day-to-day challenges that we have as a constituency. Okay, and I understand the history of my constituency. Kabwata constituency has a very rich history. Our first head of state, Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda, lived in Kabwata constituency. The Kabwata Cultural Village is here, and Honorable Given Lubinda, in my opinion, one of the greatest members of parliament this country has ever seen, was a member of parliament of this very constituency. I didn't see any reason to pick any other constituency apart from Kabwata. So yeah, that's why I just wanted to represent my people.
Wonderful. Let's come to the state of the country. Our country is in dire strait. First of all, we've got a ballooning foreign debt. We've got a ballooning local debt. Opportunities for our people are very limited. Then come what we call demographics. The young people form the largest section of our population. So if a country is suffering from diseases, unemployment, there's very little opportunities, for empowerment, for employment, and the services are not available to many. What this means is that the young people are shouldering the biggest burden of our country in whatever form you look at. Yet, young people do not usually constitute the leadership of our country. You see them at the bottom. You see them at the bottom attending political rallies. You see them at the bottom, being used as tools of politics. You want to come into leadership. I think you've joined forces with my young brother Emmanuel Mpundu. What is the state of the country from your perspective before we go into particular details, and why do you think young people ought to take an active role like you have?
I love history, and when I look into history, the state of the country, Zambia right now, in my view, we are currently going through one of the most, if not the most embarrassing era of our country's history. You see, when you look into history, you read dynasties, empires, kingdoms, and monarchs. Each of them had a very embarrassing era that they sweep under the rug, an era so embarrassing it may not even appear in the history books. And I believe Zambia is currently going through that era, okay? An era where we feel like we are actually taking steps backwards. We're not, we are living in an era where an administration is leading people or governing people in the ways of the old. What is happening to Zambia right now is what used to happen to most African countries back in the 80s, back in the 70s, when most countries were just gaining their independence. Governance was still an issue. Most countries were trying many ways on how they could govern a people. There were fanatics and freedom fighters and all these people. And right now, Zambia, being a democracy for quite a long time, on the African standards, Zambia is actually a very mature democracy. But the era we are in under the UPND administration is, to me, very embarrassing. It feels like we are taking a step backwards. We are going back to the 80s instead of becoming a better country. So when we speak about the state of our country, the only thing I would say is we are currently in an embarrassing era that many Zambian people will not want to remember in the next coming 20 years. And if we will remember this embarrassing era, I guarantee you this, President Hichilema will be remembered as a president that, in fact, we won't even, I don't see him being at the footnote of Zambia's history, okay? I see him being used as an example of how not to govern a people, okay? This is how I see Zambia in the next 20 years. Every time we will choose a leader, we'll always refer back to this time and see, okay, guys, we need to ensure we are very careful. We must not go back to 2021 to 2026, because that era was a very embarrassing era for Zambia. And it's one that we will not wish to replicate. So that's my view when we speak about the state of our country.
Chabota, those are very, very strong remarks. You are dealing with, for example, we seem to have two alternative realities. The picture you have painted is a country in disaster, is a country literally needing rescue, it's a country requiring reset. But the UPND will tell you that they've achieved, that their president is so successful You hear that they even say you should go as far as up to 2040, or they say UPND up to 2080. They are so confident that they've scored so much successes that the president, there should be no debate, the president must be given a second term. And here you are, you've just painted a picture of a dark period in our country, where our country will remember the difficulties we are going through. Is that your feeling when you go through Kabwata, Chilenje, you go around Lusaka, you speak to your colleagues, former workmates, colleagues and former schoolmates? Is that the picture you feel that our country is under serious distress? And when you hear the message of the UPND of Kwenyu that we've succeeded, there's peace, our people are happy, how do you contrast the two?
Okay. So in terms of feeling, I don't even have to step out of outside the house in order to feel that things are not on the straight and narrow. We are not succeeding as a country. All I have to do, Ambassador, is wake up and see if the geyser is on. Okay? I check Takuriyama light. Already I know that, oh my goodness, the fact that I cannot turn on to TV at any time I want because ZESCO, for some apparent reason, has tuned everybody, okay? We are basically being forced when we can do things that used to be normal. We could iron at any hour we wanted. We could watch TV at any hour we wanted. My mother loves baking. She can't do that anymore, okay? So I don't even have to step out of the house to know that things are not okay. The time I'll be stepping at the outside my gate, I already know things are spiraling out of control. When people speak to me of how bad, how business is slow, how things are just not working out like they used to me it's just, it's basically just confirming what I already know, okay? And when you hear an administration basically trying to paint this mirage, this smokescreen or false image of success, when what is on the ground is the exact opposite. To me, it just, you know, it makes me question the morality of the people leading us. I mean, what kind of people would want to lie to their people, make them believe that everything is okay, even when things are spiraling out of control? The UPND administration, when they bring the Kwenyu and all that, I have achieved 95% of all my campaign promises. To me, I see a people that are willing to gaslight the entire country, to gaslight their citizenry in thinking that, hey, this is success. They're basically telling us, no, red is blue and blue is red. That's basically what they're telling us. You know, and when you hear them speak and they say all these statistics and all these, you know, graphs and intricacies that the common person will not understand, for them to explain, it takes them 2 hours to explain the success that they speak of, when we all know at the end of the day, somebody outside can't even afford to buy a fritter simply because the business they did is just not working out like it used to be. I would say it's a very, to me, it's a, you know, when you are being led by people that are willing to gaslight you, who are willing to, or rather I would say people who want you to doubt your own reality, basically telling you that you don't understand what is happening, everything that you see, all the wrong you are seeing, the suffering, the poverty you are seeing is just in your head. That's not the reality. And for people who are willing to do that to their own citizenry, basically gaslight them, to me, I find that as a grotesque behavior, you know, and that shouldn't be condoned in a democracy like this one, a country that has been a beacon to many African countries, especially in our region. It's just not fair.
You and I are very active on social media, and one of the things that we immediately meet are the so-called praise singers. They are so dedicated to painting a false reality, you know, for their president. But it looks like their president believes that reality too. In fact, he's a captain of praise singing. First, he praises himself. He says, I've achieved. CDF is reaching every community. We are building schools. We are building hospitals. He says he has brought peace. And he says, is on a trajectory to double our GDP. And when we bring the reality that you are bringing, we are accused of being bitter. For us that belong to the PF, you are lucky you never belong to the PF. For us that belong to the PF, then they bring the comparative of the PF to the current. And literally telling you, look, you are living in a false reality. Things are better. How do you deal with the criticism on social media? It's not kind.
Okay. So in terms of, I don't even call it criticism. Criticism is somebody tells me, okay, look, the way you made your videos, I understand what you are trying to achieve. Maybe next time when you present facts, present them in this way. To me, that's criticism, okay? But when I see some delusional praise singer in the comment section, basically singing praise that they don't even believe in, but they are just singing them. Either one, they benefit from the system right now that is basically impoverishing the Zambian people, or two, they are biased, or three, they're just there to try and agitate me or anger me, or trying to make me lose my footing. I do not pay attention to praise singers anymore. At the beginning, when I started my advocacy and speaking out, it used to get to me. Praise singers used to get to me. They would be in the comment section, they will mock me, they will insult me, and until I figured out that, hey, none of these praise singers have actually ever countered my videos with their own facts, okay, to render my videos maybe like I'm lying to the masses, or I'm spreading misinformation, or I'm misleading the public. None of them have ever come out to make a counter video that will challenge my videos. None of them have ever come out. Okay, so to me, I just figured out, okay, these are just fanatics of the UPND, and they will do anything to try and make themselves feel good. They cope, basically. They know, we know, that they are not living the life they thought they would live under President Hakainde Hichilema. But you see, they live, there's so much cognitive dissonance among us, the praise singers. And at this point, when I look at them complain, or rather call us bitter, tell us, no, but why didn't you speak out in the PF? Why are you only speaking out now? I find those questions very unreasonable. I mean, at the end of the day, to me, a praise singer where I am right now, a praise singer means nothing to me. What I need right now are people that can add value. A praise singer adds no significant value to what I do, or to the to what I'm trying to achieve in terms of governance or politics. So to me, praise singers are just noise in the comment section. They're just basically, I would say, I don't pay attention to them, because to me, they're basically just on my windshield, and I'm glad to just turn on the wipers and move them aside. They mean nothing to me anymore.
Oh, okay. The sensitive issue of tribalism. Our Secretary General, Raphael Nakachinda, said one of the constant issues people would speak to him would be like, why are you with them? There's your brother in State House. As the issue of tribalism, I know young people are not affected by issues of tribe, because, the cross-pollination that has occurred across the country doesn't affect them. And they get surprised that it is embedded and very strong in our politics. Have you come across tribalism where someone maybe tries to patronize you? Like, look, there is your uncle perceived by your names, or that there's your uncle, you're obliged to support him. Has that ever occurred to you?
Multiple times. You see, when I started, I never used to use my real names, okay? I used to use a name called That Ranting Guy. That was like my moniker on how the content I made before is different from what I do today, okay? Back then, I was just a content creator who was basically goofing off on the internet trying to get views, until I just grew up and realized, okay, look, I'm getting old. I cannot continue doing this. Let me do something meaningful. So when I started speaking out, most people didn't know that I'm from the region where the president comes from, okay? Most people didn't know, because I didn't change my names then. And then until last year, I used my real names. The first reaction from people was, this is not his real name. There is no way he can be from the South and speaking against the UPND. Okay? But after so much time, and then people realize, no, actually he is from the South. Okay? And then the challenge I had now is, this is something that I face from time to time. I've posted many people from what I would say my region, okay, who come from my region as well, who tell me I am a sellout, okay, I am a traitor, I should be supporting our the UPND because it's from my region. I have posted many screenshots of my inbox, basically, people from my region or where I come from telling me that I'm a sellout, okay? And from time to time it hurts because your own people are the ones attacking you like that. But they don't understand that at the end of the day, a tribe means nothing without a country. There is no tribe when they come apart. We need to look at the bigger picture here. To me, I don't care whether the president is Ila, whether the president is from Luapula, it doesn't matter. Are they doing the right thing at the end of the day? That's what matters. If they're doing the right thing, I will call them out. And I will speak and applaud them, basically, of what they're doing. But in terms of my people receiving tribalistic insults from my people, yes, the majority of those come from people who are from my region as well. You know, the other regions, they actually, they're surprised, basically, saying, you know, there are not so many people from your region that are actually out here speaking out. And to me, that just, you know, it makes me sad because it's very lonely out here, Ambassador. It's very lonely for me, okay? Because I look around, I'm like, there is no way I'm the only one from my region that is looking around and can see that our country is not on the right trajectory. There is no way everybody would just say everything is okay and I'm the only one who's speaking out. Basically, them labeling me, I must be crazy, I'm probably bought, or somebody is paying me for what I'm doing, or the current administration didn't offer me a job, so I'm angry, I'm doing this out of frustration, which is not true. But I will tell you the truth that I have received some tribalistic attacks, but mainly from my people, and it is very unfortunate.
No, it's very simple. You follow issues, you don't follow tribe. And even when you are criticizing President Hakainde Hichilema or any policy that you criticize, you're not looking at him from the lenses of tribe. I've had similar awakenings too in my politics. But I remember vividly one when we had a political dispute and internal wrangling in 2014, and we were at the verge of picking a leader. And, you know, there was the former First Lady on one side, Mao Sampa, and Edgar Lungu. And one of the senior people came to me that I should support, you know, maybe my dear brother Mao Sampa, because I am Bemba. I was very insulted, and I told them that a tribe has not been consideration for me. In fact, I look at leaders as they are. I don't look at leaders to support them from where they come from. We are currently dealing with a particular matter where one of our senior leaders, Mumbipiri, issued what appear already to be tribal remarks. If you saw, I didn't even have to wait to gather facts beyond what I already had, and I went outright to condemn her action and isolate her from the position of the party, because I don't think that the party should engage in such tribal talk, or as a consideration for one to be a leader, my tribe should be known. In places like Rwanda, because of their experience, have even removed on their national identity the mention of tribe and chiefs. This is an attempt to detribalize their politics, because, you know, their politics ended up in a genocide. Many people don't see how harmful tribe and tribalism is. Now, let's come to young people. Benoit Mpundum, and I hope to bring him, he's already been on this program, but he's coming the second time, is pushing Ichabaiche. And you have joined it. It's an NGO pushing for young leadership, and I think you've joined forces with them. Why should young people rule now? You don't seem to push an agenda that you should co-rule with the older guys. It's like you are saying it should be our time as young people to rule. How have you understood this philosophy of young people and their participation in politics?
Okay, so Ichabaiche is not exclusive to young people only. No, it is geared and targeted for young people who aspire to be leaders. But that does not mean people who are not youths cannot be part of the movement. You will very soon start seeing certain aspiring candidates, councillor, mayor, or even MPs that will be actually in their later age in life, maybe even 50s and 60s. You will see them. But the idea for the movement for good governance, or Ichabaiche, was, you see, we need to refresh, okay? We need some, we need to bring in some innovation. And now, here is where it is. Not saying that the older generation lacks innovation or so, but what we are saying here is that I think it's time that young people, number one, should be patriotic enough to be interested in the affairs of the nation. If you've noticed, the perception around young people is that young people are never serious. They're always either drunk or finding themselves in illicit actions, or they are doing anything that could be considered bad vices, so on and so forth. They do not pay attention. They are irresponsible. But we want to actually reframe that image, and then tell some of our elders that no, it's not all young people. You're actually picking from a small minority that happens to be very loud, okay? And what we've discovered is this. Ambassador, yourself, I haven't read the biography, but I can see that you've been in politics for quite some time. When I look, you took photos with President Frederick Chiluba. That was basically in the 90s. You started off very young. Look at where you are now with so much experience. Now, if I were to ask you to say the experience you have now, would it be compared to if you started politics, let's say today at the age that you are? I don't think you would say yes. You had time to grow in it. And this is what we are trying to do here. We are trying to let young people also understand that they too have a responsibility to contribute to this country. And then Ichabaiche comes in simply because, let's be honest with ourselves, young people have not been considered when it comes to politics. We are always seen as people that just should mobilize a crowd at rallies, that should go fight other youths. We are only seen as cadres. Now they are calling us junkies. You've seen even, I can't remember, but one government official a few months ago used the term junkies, which is a derogatory remark. You see, no one should make a fun of addicts, especially youthful addicts. We should actually be helping them, not calling them names to try and put them down. So what we are trying to do here is, we are not saying we don't want anyone who's older. No, we are saying let's give chance for young people to also contribute to the growth and prosperity of this nation through the movement. If you see, most political parties now are shifting towards youthful leadership because of Ichabaiche. We have influenced political parties to consider attaching or adding young people in the mix of politics. The current administration, the UPND, never spoke about the youths leading or becoming MPs or councillors or mayors until we started to speak out, to a point that now they are trying to amend the constitution in bringing the form of Bill 7, where they are telling us, oh no, the youths will now participate more when we amend the constitution. When the constitution from the get-go has never shunned or blocked the youths from participating. It has always been the politicians or the political parties that have refused or shunned young people from joining them at the tables of decision making. And as Ichabaiche, we want to reframe that and say, look, it's high time that we changed some faces. People are now starting to get tired seeing the same characters over and over. Look at this. Just a few weeks ago, you posted a video of Honorable Jack Mwimbu, who was saying that he will stand again next year. So basically, he's trying to clock 30 years as an MP. He became an MP in 2001. Ambassador, I was 8 years old when he became MP. I'm currently 32. Think about that for a second. So are we saying that Monze doesn't have anyone that is younger that wishes to aspire and run for Member of Parliament for Monze? I'm sure there are plenty of youths there, but somebody somewhere is systematically blocking them out so that they can continue being in the positions that they are. And the movement is just here to reframe and change the way we do politics. This is just not a Zambian thing. This is across the African continent. The African youths are very, very impatient now. They are very thirsty for youth leadership. I mean, look at it from this way. The average age demographic of an African leader is 63. That's abnormal. That's not even fair. Right now, we've heard President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda. He will be running next year, despite being at an advanced age, who's served, this will be his 7th term. He's seeking for his 7th term. Can you believe that? So are you telling me nobody younger in Uganda is strong enough to bring in new ideas and lead that country? I'm sure they are, but the system is keeping the youths out, keeping the youths distracted. They make sure the youths are drunk. They are fighting amongst themselves, they are arguing, they are distracted by celebrities who just post nonsense every day so that they cannot have enough time to actually participate and pay attention to what is happening in their own country. But Ichabaiche has actually changed that. If you've noticed, in a long time, youths never paid attention to politics. Youths only waited to vote. But now, youths have their ears on the ground, that every move the current administration makes, the youths are very much aware. And that was actually the goal of our movement. And we are very happy to have reframed the landscape of Zambian politics.
Indeed, I'm glad that you referred to Africa and the type of leaders we have, where on average, like you are saying, 63 is the average age for our leaders in Africa. Yet the average population is below the age of 25 in Africa. President Hichilema was very smart in his campaign. He called himself Bali so that then the young people could look up to him. You know, like your famous uncle or your famous dad, but literally it was exploiting the young people. That look, I think when he came into office, he was 59 or 60, and he called himself Bali, and the young people were very excited. Paul Biya of Cameroon is 91 years old and is going for the next election. 91. Alassane Ouattara, Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, is 82 years old. Then my uncle Theodore Obiang Nguema Mbasogo from Equatorial Guinea is 82 years old and is going for re-election. Emmerson Mnangagwa, you know, is 82. He's going for is in his last term, but there's already agitation by young people that Emmerson Mnangagwa should go for another term to so-called stabilize the country, you know. Joseph Boakai, the guy that just got elected from Liberia, is 79 years old. Our uncle Yoweri Museveni is 80 years old. Remember, they had the law that a president should not be beyond 75. When he set up that law,
yes.
But again, he was the one to amend it. He says, no, there's wisdom in older people. Now, let's come to what affects young people in politics. First, you have no resources. Politics is a very expensive venture. The people with the money are the very people with state power. And they've excluded young people from that pot of gold. So participation of young people first is very, very difficult, because from the logistic point of view, just to mobilize, to call, to hold meetings is an expensive venture. How are you discussing this? How do you hope to overcome this? And I want to go back to the question of the so-called junkies after you've answered this question.
Okay, so I would say this, it hasn't been easy as young politics, given that, first of all, most of our businesses have basically gone under, okay, simply because we are currently in a very hostile economic environment. Then, our businesses have gone under, there is no jobs, no resources. But as young people, we've just come to ask ourselves this, like, look, this is probably how our freedom fighters felt also. They were under oppression, where they had limited resources to get the freedom that we enjoy today. But at the end of the day, they had to organize themselves. They had to contribute whatever they had, even a coin. And this is what we've been doing under the Movement for Good Governance. Sure, our leader is an MP, but he can only be stretched so far. But we've had to also find other ways on how we can raise finances through donations amongst ourselves, through the little businesses that we do, and through all sorts of sacrifices, savings, in order to run this movement successfully to where it is today. So in the sense of youths not having resources and politics being a resource, I should say, that is driven by large resources, we have just told ourselves to say, look, it's best we try the best that we can with the little resources, even though we are not millionaires. At the end of the day, what we are fighting for is far much larger than what our pockets. We are trying to make our country a better place. So even the little we have, if you don't have transport, you can walk to a certain place. Logistics, mobilizing people has been a very difficult thing. But we have done it very well, in the sense that we've just put money aside. We are not thinking about money, okay? Because here's the thing, money comes and goes, but morality just has to be there at all times. It should be, let me just say, it should be rooted in the ground, that it should not move like a very healthy tree. At the end of the day, money comes and goes, but not to say that we don't need money or resources, we do. But at the end of the day, we are thinking to ourselves to say, look, what we are fighting for is far much better, or far much more than what than our pockets. At the end of the day, even though money is very hard to come by under the current economy that we are in, we have just decided to sacrifice. It's sacrifice. At the end of the day, you just need sacrifice. And if you truly love your country and you are patriotic about it, even the little that you have, you will use that in order to mobilize people, to tell a friend of a friend of a friend. And social media has helped us. This would have been far much difficult had we not had social media. But you see, you can buy a 10 kwacha bundle. I sometimes buy a 10 kwacha bundle, make one video, and hundreds of thousands of people see it, and they join the movement. You see that? But now imagine how Bene Kaunda felt. There was no social media. There was no cell phones. All they had were probably maybe landlines, and most landlines were owned by the colonial masters. But guess what? Word of mouth is what they relied on to relay information. And we've also been looking at it from that perspective. So it's quite sad that politics is a game of money, that it feels like it was designed to keep people of a certain class out. It's like a rich man's game. And we are trying to change that. Politics shouldn't be a rich man's game. Everyone that believes they can contribute to the prosperity of this country should be part of politics, whether they are rich or not. And that's where we stand as a movement.
Professor Lumumba from Kenya, makes an example, is an astute academic, is a wide commentator on Pan-African issues. And he says a lot of people kept on urging him that he should join politics because he's eloquent, he has brilliant idea for Kenya and Africa. And he did join politics. He says he campaigned, he reached out, and his opponent just came the last 3 days with a bag of money, distributed money, goodies, cooking oil, sugar, and he was beaten out cleanly. So the kind of politics being practiced, good ideas are not enough. And I think even our presidential candidates, some of the best presidential candidates may not make it because of the issue of money. Money is riding and driving our politics. Before I invite our viewers to join us and make their contribution, please share this broadcast. I've seen that you've garnered good numbers. It means that young people are listening. Young people listen to you and they've joined, to listen to your wise counsel. There's a huge turnout for you on social media on my page. The issue of junkies, I feel desperate about this matter. I feel that we are losing a generation of young people to alcohol and drug abuse. And when I see DEC concentrated all its efforts with political and politicians, I shudder. Why aren't we stopping those drugs? Why have we allowed Chivolia to become home for drugs and alcohol abuse, where it's a no-go area for DEC and the police? What is happening to our borders? How come these hard drugs are available across our country? What are your views when you see that your fellow youths, we are literally losing them and now we are calling them junkies? Because when they become drug addicts, alcohol addicts, they will fall into petty crimes. Before long, they are in jail. Their lives are ruined. And it appears we are not doing much to curb this vice. It's like, sometimes I feel like our politicians want our youths drunk. Therefore, then the youths cannot raise the fundamental issues you and I are raising.
Yes, I would agree with that, because that's what I wanted to actually say. I made a little reference before you asked me this question. I, for one, think it's systematic. They are aware that a lot of young people out there are very unproductive and they are basically, their lives are astray. They have no sense of purpose whatsoever. But you see, to control a people, you need to put them in a situation where they're desperate, that any little thing that you will give them, they will fold. You see, we just spoke about politics being a game of money, of how Patrice Lumumba lost an election to a man that had a lot of money. The issue was here. You see, the other guy just exploited people's, the people's desperation. And that is what is happening. You see, a healthy youth that is making a lot of money is very difficult to lie to. It's very difficult to convince to vote for you. But you see, if the youths are desperate and all they want is an extra 10, 20 kwacha so that they can buy another bottle of Tujili, you can basically buy them off. You tell them, look, I have 100 kwacha for the 10 of you. If you can vote for me, if you can mobilize, I will give you this 100 kwacha. So basically, it's just preying on people's desperation, which is, to me, very evil. It's not that the DEC or the DEC cannot go into Chibolia. I don't believe that. They know how to go there. They know how they can curb the issue. But they just won't do it, simply because somebody is benefiting somewhere. Remember the saying, chaos is a ladder. There are people who actually capitalize on that chaos. So having youths that are, that are addicts, it's very much easy to stay in power, to hold on to the riches of the country and the resources. Because you see, if all the youths were like what I'm doing right now, it would be very difficult to lie to them, to steal from them. In fact, the youths would be basically controlling every avenue of this country. So I, for one, think it's a systematic, it's a gimmick, or rather I should say it's systematic in how they've made sure that the male child is disenfranchised. They are either drunk, too drunk to actually be productive, and then the female is somewhat, there are many NGOs supporting women, but at the end of the day, women are also becoming junkies. And if they are not, they are basically selling themselves to the generation above them. Because look at it this way, there is a saying amongst the youths, we say, our elders keep the men, the young males, or the young males out of jobs, so that they cannot be able to get married. And then our elders are now dating or moving about with what is supposed to be our future wives. You see that? So they first make sure we are not employed, we are not empowered. Then on top of that, they decide to also take our future wives, our future, mothers, the mothers of our offspring or our children. So to me, it's just a systematic way to keep the young people away. Keep them distracted, and they will never, ever raise up against you. That's what I believe this whole issue is.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, it's your time to participate. I'm inviting you to make your contributions. We'll go for a short break. I'll come and ask you about these questions. There is this statement that was issued by a youth, an example of what is happening in our politics and the role of the youths in politics. And the threat by the Inspector General of Police, I'll come and speak to that. Let's play that, and then you come and take the questions.
Back where meal allowances at the University of Zambia. It's really, we are learning with shock that a former president in the name of Edgar Chagwaru, who terribly failed to manage the order and the welfare of this country, is busy manipulating himself to have issues of thinking he can come back to this country. Zambians are not docile. Yes. Zambians will never be taken back to areas where they cannot access freedom in the market. Zambians will not be taken back to an opportunity whereby even just boarding a bus wearing any party t-shirt was a crime. Zambians will not be taken back where meal allowances at the University of Zambia was scrapped off. Zambians will not be taken back where even just shaking a hand with someone who belongs to another political party, it was a crime. Lungu must watch his steps. Yes. He must watch his steps. I think Lusaka province and other provinces, you've tolerated that idiot for so long. Bring that man to Northwestern where we practice circumcision so that we take him into circumcision. We take him into circumcision. We are not here docile. People, the civil servants, we are not working. Because under the civil service there was a serious division. Ethnicity was the code of the day. Promotion was just wanted on because you belong to a certain political party on ethnicity. Is that what Rungu thinks he can take us back to? We will circumcise him. Yes. We are appealing to government. If there is opportunity for Rungu to come to Northwestern, please do it quick. Yes. Bring him here. Yeah. Bring him here so that we teach him a lesson. Yes. And you remember the time his mother cried when giving birth to him. Yes. We cannot be doing things like cry babies in a country. Who is Rungu? Who does he think he is? Does he want Zambia? Does he want Zambia? Please, we ask Mr. Rungu to consider himself as a statesman or face proper circumcision that he has never witnessed before. He will see us. And to the youths in Lusaka, we are appealing to you colleagues. Yes. Wake up. Wake up. If you don't have money power there, tell us, we come. Yes. As a province, we are very much ready to coordinate and bring the youth there in Lusaka. So that we teach that third lesson. You cannot belong to a party of a behavior and is busy calling himself as a serpent. You can be a serpent, but there are eagles in this country. We are able to grab you off from the ground and take you in the high sky. We fight from there. Rungu, wherever you are as you are watching this is Kokera Moses. I understand very well where you want to go. If you want to die from the hands of President Hakainde Hichilema, please spare Hakainde Hichilema not to kill you. Allow us to kill you.
The Zambia Police Service has noted with grave concern a Facebook post circulating on a page purporting to represent the Patriotic Front, PF, titled, PF to begin countrywide demonstrations until state gives back PF. Demo starting at Robert Chavinga's house. The content of this page has repeatedly carried statements that border on incitement to lawlessness and the commission of public disorder. As Inspector General of Police, I wish to inform the public that the Zambia Police Service is closely monitoring this page. Its administrators and all individuals involved in creating, sharing, and amplifying messages intended to provoke unrest. Any attempt to organize or incite unlawful demonstrations, intimidate individuals, or cause chaos will be treated as a serious criminal matter. Those found in wanting will be arrested and prosecuted in accordance with the laws of Zambia. Let it be made abundantly clear that while the right to peaceful assembly is guaranteed, it must be exercised within the confines of the law. The Zambia Police Service will not tolerate any actions or rhetoric aimed at undermining the public order and the safety of citizens. When law enforcement...
Okay, we have our first caller. I'll speak about the Inspector General of Police threatening citizens who wish to organize peaceful demonstrations, as if peaceful demonstrations or protests in our country is illegal. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Your Excellency, Ambassador Mwamba. My name is Martin Sochikwanda. Currently, I'm calling from Kalulushi.
Thank you, Martin.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank you for this program that you've actually been televising on Facebook and social media, which has actually attracted a lot of people that are concerned about the livelihood of our people and also the country's welfare. Good evening, Chabota.
Yeah, he can hear you.
Yes, I've been following you, and my young brother, I would say this: I respect you and I wish you all the best. I'm very proud of you because you stand out amongst a lot of people from Southern Province that speak out of the wrongs that our president has been doing, especially when it comes to tribalism, and also just gross mismanagement of our economy and lie after lie, because this country deserves better leadership. On the issue of the youths in terms of drug abuse and everything, I know you've spoken well about it. I think the first thing that we need to do is we need to actually start conscientizing our youths in terms of mindset change, because currently in this regime of the UPND, our youths do not have jobs. The time they spend out there is about drinking, getting involved in mischievous activities. So as a youth movement, you need to actually start looking at mindset change. Let them forget about giving them money, handouts and stuff. That will not take them anywhere. I mean, in politics today, you will definitely see that somebody with great ideas will not be voted into office because of money, bribery. So I am very proud of you, and you're not alone. I have another friend of mine who's from the Southern Province who speaks very, very strongly about the negatives that the UPND and obviously the president is doing to this country. So Keep it up, and please do not falter. You're on the right track. You're on the right trajectory, and leadership comes in different forms. May God bless you, and Ambassador Mwamba, God bless you. You're doing a great job. Our people have spoken out. Our people are following you. Keep doing the good job you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you very much. Martin from Kalulushi. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling from US, anonymous. How are you, Mr. Mwamba?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm good. I've seen Chabota there also, the youth. You have done very well to bring Chabota there. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Continue with your contributions.
Yeah. So, my contribution is, first I'll start with the Inspector General of Police. Those threats that is giving, we are very disappointed because we're expecting the Inspector General of Police to be sorting out other issues that we have seen, what the threat that UPND has been giving. And it's very disappointing to get a cadre as the Inspector General of Police to be there to telling the nation in such a story where we're expecting to arrest people who have been adopting JJ and others. We have a lot of issues in Northwesterns where they have failed to accountable on the people who have died that side. When it comes to issue of Chabota, what I said, this government promised a lot to the youths, and the youths went in numbers to go and vote to see that at the end of the day, the government will create more jobs. But this time, look at now what is happening. All our children have become junkies because they don't have what to do. And today, they are busy championing when they employ a teacher, which is automatically that each year, government employ teachers and the police and Zambia Army and ZNS and ZAF. That is automatically, it has been there all along from Kaunda time. But the problem that we have seen from this government, they are one-sided. That's why tribalism can't end, because the only people that are being arrested are on one side. It's North and Eastern Province. These are the only people that are arrested. So even when they say one Zambia, one people, it will never work until they come and realize to say, we are one, if they can also do it in their own house, arresting all those people who have been doing the wrong things. That's only what I can contribute, Mr. Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. I'm calling you from Antarctica.
Yes, my dear sister.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Chabota. Good evening, Mwamba. Thank you for the program. I just want to commend the young man for everything that he has said. There's so much wisdom in him. These are people that we need. And I want to urge all young Zambians, please look up to people like him. All these old folks that come and lie to you and they want to use you. I've always said this cash for work that came is meant to destroy the youths. They want you to sweep the street and give you 300 kwacha. They don't encourage you like to attain a good and quality education, to have a good skill. They would rather say, when you cash for work, imita ufole, those things that are getting youths. Here's somebody who advocates for you. And I want to urge you to join Ichabaichi. We need to take all these positions that these people are grabbing by force. We don't need the money as Chabota has elaborated. All we need is our strength, togetherness, collective, we can do it. This thing of thinking that government must be only for older people, even when you say a young person is taking over government, not 2026, it has to be 2031. Why do we always have to think in those lines? No, this is our time. This is the time for the young people. Chabota, my brother, don't give up. People of Kabwata, vote for this young man. Stop going for these old people that do nothing for you. Open your eyes and see where it's heading to. It's heading towards the young generation. God is tired of these people. Let's have those wise elders who would want to carry a good legacy to support the young generation and help them. and nurture them, not these ones that are destroying people like the UPND, cash for work, nothing for the youth. They will say youth, they will bring nothing. They will say I'm cooking something for the youth. They will go and organize cash for work. What is that? What is 400 compared to your future? What is 400 compared to your legacy? All these things are just leading to cadarism, rampant drunkenness, or all this misbehavior that we are seeing in the youth. And we don't need that. We need people that are responsible. But how do we do that? We need to groom them whilst they're still young. They need to look forward to a brighter future. And that's what we need. We don't need junkies. We don't need all this. And it starts from today. So Ichava is a good movement, and I can see it bright like from here. And we should urge all Zambian youth to be part of this movement. And congratulations to Binwell for this vision, because it's a good vision. Thank you, Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. My name is Kefas Mwapemsonda, calling you from Kabwe Central Province, an advocate for industrialization and national development.
Thank you very much.
Comrade Chabota, good evening.
Thank you. We can hear you.
I feel highly honored when I hear youths that are speaking, but nothing pertaining to the greatness of this great country, Zambia. We should be reminded, all of us, that Zambia is greater than all of us. When our forefathers fought for the freedom that we have today, they were a youthful movement. I think the oldest must have been 42 years. The rest, they were below that age. And they stood up high to defend and protect the image and honor the people that fought for the freedom that made them to become leaders. What am I trying to say? You, the youths, in 2021, you made a decision to change the government which was there, and now you have seen the government which is here today. Time has come for you as youths to rise from the sleep and do the comparisons, not comparison of hatred, not comparison under tribal lines, but comparison of developing and moving Zambia to the highest where it can be. How can we do it? We can only do it if we engage in productive and issue-based discussions. We are a country that have lived for almost 1 year this year, on the 24th, but still we are wrangling in abject poverty. Many of the youths are not managing to have 3 meals in a day, in a country where resources are plenty. Bamwamba, all we are saying as Zambia is we are not supposed to be a poor country. We are not even supposed to be among the countries that should be begging for bread, because God has been with us and God will continue to be with us. Therefore, the youths must stand up and speak. Comrade Chabota, we have Simfukwe who died and his blood is still crying down in the soil, whilst the people that killed him are now moving in the streets with the freedom given back to them. Is this the country that we desire and need? Is this the Zambia that we desire and need? As much as now the youths are being called junkies, no one has ever given birth to a junkie. What is it that is causing many of the youths to be called junkies? What is it that is making many of the youths to resort in drugs, to resort in taking alcohol rather than being productive? It's because presidents, political parties give their campaigns and promise heaven and earth, whilst when they are voted into power, they neglect those that gave them the mandate and gave them the power.
Thank you,
My
Kefas.
earnest appeal is that as we draw closer to the 24th of October, we need to think about the youths that died in the struggle for the independence.
Thank you. Thank you, Kefas.
Must not be the tag for any of the youths. Time for every youth to stand and say, my tribe is Zambia is now. Abakulu benanga banelanda pamitundu shabo. Ifwetie ntwambo kulachita denounce chimupashi cha tribalism. We know that right now, as we draw closer to the 2026 election, Mwamba, the issue to do with tribalism will begin from the political parties. If I, as Kefas Mwapemusonda, would go to the southern part of this country to contest for an election, the people that will be doing the preliminaries will say this one can never be adopted. I want us as youths to stand firm on the solid ground of this nation. The same spirit that made Dr. David Kenneth Kaunda to declare Zambia a Zambia, one nation, is the spirit that we need to rise with. And going forward, that as we approach 2026, we time for you to get into leadership is now. Remember that even in the Bible, Joseph was young, but God gave him the mantle to become second in command in Egypt, and he brought in solutions that were very feasible and working. I want to appeal to you that let's stop calling our brothers and sisters as junkies. We need to embrace them and find solutions that will make them accept that they are also Zambians who can participate in the governance of this country.
Thank you, Kefas. Thank you, Kefas. Thank you, Kefas. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mwamba, and good evening, Chabota. Chabota, Wamba, my name is Zephania Piri, calling from Lusaka, Zambia. Chabota, Wamba Gabo Tumdala, one Zambia, one nation, and our tribe is Zambian. I think Zambians, we must embrace this, and this was encouraged by our late 60th Republican president. I remember he used to say one Zambia, one nation, and our tribe is Zambian. So I want just to encourage that Zambian youth, come 2026, they are the owners of this election which they need to defend. And they must come out in numbers, and they should emulate the way Chabota is coming out. I know there are very few people who are like him, who are brave, who can bring out issues like, activism. Because in this country, this time around, Zambians have been gagged through the cyber laws, and Zambians, they fear to speak. But Zambians, we must speak, because Article 21 says freedom of expression. We must use it. We must express ourselves. And I'm very disappointed with the IG. The IG has been quiet in numbers of issues. Just someone writing that PF will start now demonstrating because they want the party back. Look at how he has come out to show that the IG is behaving like he is also a member of UPND, when he was supposed to provide a service for the Zambian people. Because Zambians, according to the constitution, they've got rights to protest because it is in the constitution. As long as it's peaceful demonstrations, Zambians, they should demonstrate. But look at how the IG has come out. He has come out very trying to threaten. And he knows that the Patriotic Front, he has been injured because the people who are trying to steal the political party are well known, but they are not talking about it. But today, I am shocked and I am disappointed with the IG. People have been abducted. Black Apple was abducted. YME was abducted. He was just quiet. But just for name PF, look at how it has, the way he has come out. Now, the question I want to ask my young brother Chabota is that, is the HRH registered? If he's not registered, how do you think that under the UPND they are going to allow it the way it's coming out? Then the other thing is that if UPND approaches you to say they want to work with you, are you going to allow, or you are going to continue to advocate? Now, and the last question is that as Chava Iche, are you able to work with the other political parties so that we win 2021, because you are also a force? And most of the youths are also emulating and are also trying to make sure that they support Chava Iche and you support other political parties.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Zephaniah.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Anonymous calling you from Lusaka.
Anonymous, quickly make your contributions.
I just want to appreciate you, Ambassador Mwamba, for bringing Chawata on the discussion tonight. And I just want to appreciate Chawata. Actually, it's fun and I follow him. Actually, my one point and aspect which I just want to confirm with what Chawata has already said is where politicians uses money and other things to emphasize the youths. For example, I'm a student at the University of Zambia. Ambassador Mwamba, it's very sad when you see students being used, given 100 kwacha to go and do some things which are not intended for their academic purposes. And it's very sad again, you can talk about politics at the University of Zambia. It seems like there are groups which are there to just intimidate students, not to discuss real issues. Yet when we are in class, we are encouraged by our lecturers to discuss these real issues, because at the University of Zambia, we are told that we have academic freedom to discuss these issues. But it's very sad when you see some politicians, including these politics at the University of Zambia. It seems like now is a trend when every year when we have got elections, people who comes in power at the University of Zambia, they seems like to support the government of the day, which is really sad. And actually, it just breaks my heart, being one of the students actually, and reading the history of the University of Zambia. It's very sad looking at how our forefathers used to fight independence, used to talk about the injustices during at that particular time. There were brave women and men who did fight for our independence. But alas, some of us here, it's very sad. We just see it, we can't do anything, yet our country is getting destroyed. And one thing which I'd like just to request from Chawata, actually, we are there at the University of Zambia. Some of us, we are willing to work with you guys. But I've never seen you or anybody just come like visiting or just encouraging us, because it's not all of us at the University of Zambia who really support what is happening today in the current government. And I just beg you, please, one day just visit us, mobilize yourself, and try to make us join with you. So guys, we should work together to better our country. Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Mwamba. This is Proverbs Sawelo.
Yes, Proverbs.
Member of HRI. So, basically, one of the things that we have embraced, and it is actually very sad for even us Zambians. I believe, Honorable Mwamba, even you being there, you have a lot of relatives back here. And the sad part of us, the so-called young people, is that we are not yet decided on things that matters the most. What I mean is this. Look at our colleagues,
Oh, did we lose him? Oh, sorry. Please call back, please. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Ambassador, this is Boston. So we're calling you from Lusaka.
Boston, make your contribution. Thank you.
Good evening, my brother Chabota.
Yes, he can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. It's a very good opportunity. I've been trying to call. I think your program is making an impact because I think there is an overwhelming response. So it's very difficult actually to even get this chance. So I'm actually glad that
I found my way in, and I'm able to contribute. Obviously, I think this is a very good program, and I want to just appreciate Chabota is coming out very well. And for me, I will strongly emphasize on us youths coming together and just be united in order for us to, contribute to this nation. I think for so long we've been sidelined as youths, but what I see is that we need collective efforts and unite amongst ourselves. But it's very unfortunate that we have some selfish individuals who are putting their interest first, and this is hindering our development. Look at what is happening right now. There's so much segregation. There's so much, bitterness. There's so much payback in our country, which is not supposed to be the case. This is the more reason why we are calling for fresh and young blood, so that we can come up with fresh ideas, innovations that are going to foster the development of this nation. It is obviously a well-known fact that now UPND has jailed more people than they have delivered according to their promises. Look at how many people have been jailed just because they are affiliated to one political party. It is not supposed to be the case. And this is why I think we are supporting the movement for good governance, for the young people, because, we need to put the interest of the nation first before anything. It's very unfortunate that we should begin to fight each other. The same Zambia. It is very unfortunate, Ambassador, that we are fighting each other today. It's very unfortunate that today, just to gain political relevance, you have to talk about where you are coming from. No, me, I come from this part of Zambia. It's very unnecessary. It's very unnecessary, Ambassador Mwamba, today, in our day-to-day, in this era, to start, I don't even know how I can put it, but it's very unnecessary that we are having discussions that are not yielding results for this country. For me, my contribution is that we give respect to our older generation. We appreciate what they have done, their contribution to this nation. Now it's our turn to take the baton and shape the future of our nation. Let's work together to build a Zambia that is prosperous. Let's build a Zambia that is just and equitable for all of us. For me, unity is not just a slogan. It's a call to action. Let's unite for a purpose and work towards developing a future Zambia that we all look up and say, yes, we contributed to what we are seeing today. Thank you very much. I end my contribution here.
Thank you. Proverbs has called back. Proverbs, finish your thoughts.
All right. Thank you, Ambassador. So I think one thing that we must understand by now, Ambassador, is that the UPND is using a weapon called fear. And this is what they are doing so that they can control the narrative. When we talk about the opposition members, as my previous speaker has said, they are jailing any person who goes against them, be it they are wrong or they are right. Provided you're not affiliated to them, then you have no right to talk about them. So in every corner of Zambia today, fear is being used as the church, of which some fear to speak against the government because they fear to be jailed, while some fear to protest.
My brother, speak in the phone. You've gone away a bit.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you
better.
very much. All right. So today, in every corner of Zambia, there is fear which is being used, and it is more like a chain which is chaining up every person who is ready to speak out the truth. Today, the people that have been jailed, they are not people that are wrong. Yes, some they are, but some, it is because of their political affiliation. I'll give you a practical example. Just yesterday, this person who is 100% aligned to the death of Sim. Wow, this person, let me talk of JJ, whose case was disposed of years back, is now was actually submitted to be jailed. a lot of examples that I can do. And I'm calling for young people not just to use Facebook posts to lay out their grievances, because the fear that the government is using is not accidental. It is just a tool which they are using to control. So when those in power cannot convince you, they will just try to scare you so that you cannot speak out. They want to think it is safer to stay silent than to speak, because that is the narrative that they want to drive. They want us to believe that fighting for justice is dangerous while they are plundering our nation. And that is exactly the things that the UPND are doing. But the truth is, fear is how the powerful stay in power. If we allow ourselves to stay in fear, we are actually telling them that they can continue to do whatever they are doing.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Let me take this call. Thank you for your contribution. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from before we invite Chabota to come and answer.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, and good job. Thank you that you brought actually one of the brains amongst the youths in Zambia to come on your platform and express, the ideas and how he feels our governance system is. Congratulations to Chabota, and keep working. We are supporting you. We are behind you. My words are actually to the IG. He issued threats against people who would actually be demanding for the right thing to be done. If there is any person that the IG must begin to arrest is President Hakainde Hichilema and Chavinga, because these have already committed illegalities. Coming to the issue, Kabwata, you have been presented a leader. You are so graced that you have a leader that, can take you somewhere as a constituency. Please embrace this young man, nurture this young man, protect this young man with everything that you got as a constituency. Chabota, you are on the right path. Whoever said youths cannot do politics, whoever thought youths can only be used to insult, the elderly, they were wrong. We still have youths that can do greater exploits in our country. I thank you, Ambassador. I thought I just wanted to add that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the contribution. There are so many causes, Chabota, and so many causes. Let's see. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Chabota, I think you're coming out so well. And I think the issue for the Ichaba is another good effort. But let me tell you, like the other young man who called from the University of Zambia, I think he was right. You better visit the University of Zambia, because that's where I remember those days. Each time the government did something wrong, it's the younger people that were actually going out to demonstrate against the government. I've never seen this since the past 4 years. The only thing that they do now is to celebrate about the new allowance and to go and mock ECL death when the initial death, pretending they were mourning and that they were celebrating somebody get their money. I think you need to start from there, because we adults, we also have to find somewhere of comfort to say, yes, our young men are now becoming more responsible. We can actually support them to run this country. But if we see that the academicians and the other ones are actually dancing for a meal allowance only, then it becomes very difficult. You've got a very long way to go, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me see if I can just wind down and take the last cause, because the cause are so many. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm Leonard, calling from within Lusaka.
Leonard, make your contributions quickly.
First of all, I would like to thank our own spokesperson, Chabota, for well spoken. But I want to find out if Ichaba is registered.
Okay,
Because
I think
we have a government. We do have a government that cannot allow a citizen to register. I think we have a history of how PF was treated. You remember this Chavinga and this group, they managed to change their the legislators. In case of Ali Kalaba, he was complaining about the same thing. So we want to know, is it registered or is not registered? Because we are concerned. They have a visionary leader by the name of Wawan Yapiangi. But we are so curious if Chaba is registered or not.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
The Minister of Women.
Thank you. I think this should be my last two callers. Otherwise, we won't stop. Hello, please caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Dumisani. I'm calling you from Rufunsa.
Dumisani, make your contributions.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I would like to commend Chawota. He's my brother. I'd like to commend him for the work that he's doing. If we do not give people like Chawota a chance to stand, I think as a nation we would be doing ourselves a disservice. I think it's high time that we put aside old and selfish people from these leadership positions and put people that have a heart for the people and are willing to work. So I think it's time now for the youths. I call upon all the youths in the country to stand up and be brave. Don't be used as tools of violence. Don't be used as tools of propaganda. But it's time for each and every youth to wake up and say enough is enough. Kaunda and his crop were a group of youths that stood up and brought change in the country. So this is our second independence. If we do not take this chance, guys, if we do not take this chance, there won't be any other chance. So this is our time, and I would like to encourage everyone, including Wanamayo, the elderly, it's time for us to get our second independence. Chawota, I commend you, and I wish you luck, and let's work together in all this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Chabota, you've had an overwhelming response on the call. I promised the last call. Maybe let's take the last call, then I invite you to make your contribution. Nalo, please caller, tell us your name and where you are calling us from. You are our last caller.
Okay, thank you. This is Zuba from Chibombo.
Zuba from Chiwombo, make your contributions.
Okay, I would want to say that as we do checks and balances, may we also give solutions so that we sound factual about whatever we're saying. We cannot keep complaining.
My dear sister, give us your solutions. Give us your solutions.
You're the one who is trying to get power, so you have to be the one to give the solutions.
No, we do all the time. So you might have some proposals. So give your proposals. She says we must give solutions. I think that's all we do, is we identify the problem and we propose a solution. Since she has cut and run away, let's take the last caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. And you are finally our last caller.
This is the Mwewa from Livingston.
Mwewa from Livingston, make your contributions.
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, I would want to pass my regards to Honorable Chabota. He's quite a very good politician and is coming up very well, and I would just encourage him to continue. Now, the concern I have, on, especially on the part of the Patriotic Front, it is the historical, and then it is also to do with contribution. When you look at, we've been governed by four political parties now as a country. We started with UNIP. UNIP is still functional very well. Then we came into MMD. MMD is still functional. They are even in an alliance with UPND. After MMD was taken for 10 years with Batu Perama President Watatu. But PF, Batu Perama President Babiri. But when you look at the founding father of the Patriotic Fund, Mr. Michael Sata, he served all the way from UNIP until he formed his own political party, the Patriotic Front. Now, historically, Mr. Michael Sata has worked for this country so much. And wherever he worked from, be it in UNIP, be it in MMD, until he came into the Patriotic Front, he has been a patriotic Zambian. And Mr. Sata died as a hero. Historically, I think posterity cannot allow us to see to it that the party that Mr. Sata formed dies just like that. Looking at the developmental projects which the PF did in 10 years, I think every Zambian is able to see that. And then coming from Mr. Sata, we come to Mr. Edgar Lungu. Mr. Edgar Lungu ruled this country from 2015 to 2021 for 7 years. And he was a patriotic citizen of this country. He died in a foreign land. Up to now, we have not buried him. But the government is yet claiming that want to give him a dignified burial. Now, when you talk about a dignified burial, look at the assault that is being done to the Patriotic Front, the party that built Zambia. He built hospitals, he built roads, he built schools, he built a lot of things, and the economy for Zambia was coming up so well. The man has not yet been buried. His political party is under stress. Why shouldn't Zambians express their democratic right to show, to protest, to show solidarity for the gallant men who have dying for this country, and they had put their soul to making sure that this country is developed? Look at the political party, the platform that they used to develop this country. Is this the way we can honor Michael Sata? Is this the way we can honor Edgar Lungu? I think it is just justifiable, Mwamba, to say that if there is the protest, let just protest be like if they would let them that's for normal procedures which they apply, then let the government, let the people protest, because PF means so much to many Zambians, not only patriotic party members, but to Zambia as a country, because development for PF wasn't only in PF areas, it was across the country. So Patriotic Front is a party for the country. They've ruled this country for 10 years, and up to now, Patriotic Front is still very, very relevant in too many Zambians. So I think for me, I would just advise that government can give a go ahead for people to express their democratic right.
Thank you very much, Chabota. I think you've got a feel of what the country is saying. Begin to answer, then we take your closing remarks, and I close. We thank you very much to all those calling. Let's just close, otherwise we'll not have an opportunity for Chabota to respond. Pick any of the issues that you wish to respond, some specific, some broad.
Okay. So I will pick the one that the question that has been asked the most is Ichabache registered? Okay, so you need to understand that there was a move that was recently pulled by the Registrar of Societies, where they said anything with the word movement shall not be registered. In my view, that was just an attack on us, because they believed the movement for good governance is gaining so much momentum. So it was a way of trying to block us in a way, which we found quite strange, given that there's already a political party that has the word movement in it, which is the movement MMD, which is the movement for multi-party democracy. So we couldn't register the movement for good governance because of that factor that was just implemented recently. It was just a blockade. But we have found another avenue. We have a vehicle that we will use to propel Ichabache. Otherwise, we will be launching it very soon. And I guarantee you that Ichabache is here to stay and no one is going to stop us. That's one question I can answer. I hope that is clear to everybody out there. Then when we look at the questions to do with what's going on with the PF and why the IG is saying that people shouldn't demonstrate. You know, this is something I'm not surprised that the IG rather would say something like that, because if you remember in March, on Youth Day in Western Province, President Hakainde Hichilema made similar remarks. But here is the thing, he framed protesting or demonstrating as riot. If you pay attention, every time they talk about protest, they always attach it to unlawful assembly, being destroying of property, being violent, all sorts of things. But we all know a protest, a demonstration is peaceful, guided by the police themselves to ensure that it remains peaceful. A demonstration is just placards, people with banners, singing songs, maybe chants, as well as megaphones. That's it. But they always try to frame protest equals to riot. No, a riot and a protest are two different things. And our constitution says the Zambian people have the right to demonstrate and to protest when they're against, or rather when they are not happy with something that is going on in their country. President Hakainde Hichilema himself used to advise his supporters when he was in opposition to protest, to speak out. But it's so funny that when he's come into power now, he is actually condemning peaceful protests, which is very hypocritical of the UPND administration. Otherwise, the IG should just allow people to have a peaceful demonstration. Let them go through the process, let them apply where they will demonstrate and how long they intend to demonstrate. If they are going to march, allow them to do that. And do not use the excuse of saying we have no manpower. It is so funny that when the opposition wants to stage a peaceful protest, for some apparent reason there is no manpower to handle a peaceful protest. But there is always enough manpower to go and storm the PF secretariat, which I find quite strange. It's almost like there is no enough manpower. It's just an excuse so that people cannot hold a peaceful protest. Otherwise, the Zambian people are entitled to a peaceful protest when they feel things are not going their way. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Chabota, you've been a wonderful guest, and you've, I think, spoke to many national and especially issues affecting the youth. And also you took time to walk us through the vision of Ichabache. And I would like to thank you for this great opportunity and for coming to grace our occasion. This is your platform. I'm waiting for Binwa Mpundu. I think he's also scheduled to come. I wish you well in your Kabwata endeavors, and my passionate appeal is Kabwata, there is a leader. There is a leader for you, and there's a great opportunity. You currently, in fact, have an absent MP. For the first time, I don't know the name of the MP for Kabwata. So here is a young person who has laid himself to save you, the people of Kabwata, speak for you and speak for development. What are your last words, if you have any, before I transition.
My last words would be the people of Zambia, this is your time to actually rise up and stand up for your country. And when I mean rise up, I don't mean in a violent way. You don't need violence to solve a problem, okay? What I would say is this, the Zambian people, there is so much that you know you are capable of. But when you are being led by people that constantly gaslight you, that treat you like you don't think or you are unreasonable, a style of leadership or governance that kind of looks down on you, that always preaches to you rather than listen to you, is not a government to keep along. It's not a government to give another second chance. Because if they can treat you this way in their first term, think about how they can treat you if you give them a second term. Those are things that I would ask the Zambian people to reflect on and understand where this country is headed with this current administration. And to my last remarks, I would ask, if I had a chance to meet President Hakainde Hichilema, and if I could ask him one question, I would ask him this: Your Excellency, when Binwa Mpundu defeats you in next year's 2026 general elections, will you be patriotic enough to concede defeat and hand over power peacefully? That's my last remarks, Ambassador Mwamba. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Chawota. Thank you. Thank you for the great opportunity that you gave us. And like I stated, that I wish you very well, and you've been a blessing and a star among our young people. Dear viewers, tomorrow we are hosting Kapembwa Simbao, the newly elected president for the Zambia we want. On Thursday, we bring back Sebastian Coplande. He has some news and fresh perspective to the issues that he's pursuing. We always have great guests. Today we're graced by a youth activist, youth leader in Chabota, Chilinda Mwetwa, who came to give us his perspective. And thank you for sharing the views. Thank you for what we are saying. I had something to say about the Inspector General of Police. The threats by the Inspector General of Police are first of all empty and illegal. The Inspector General of Police is abusing his position, is behaving like a UPND cadre. If citizens wish to demonstrate, to picket, if they wish to protest, I think the Inspector General of Police doesn't know that these rights are in the Constitution. The Constitution has provided for these rights. The right to protest is a fundamental right, and it's in part 3 of our Constitution. And you just can't amend part 3 of our Constitution because it's sacred. It makes us who we are. The right to demonstrate, the right to protest, the right to picket, the right to express yourself is a fundamental right. So if members of the Patriotic Front are calling for peaceful demonstration, your duty as a police is to cooperate with them and grant them that opportunity to express themselves. You should give them time. If you want them to fulfill the notices for 7 days, you do that. That is your role as the Inspector General of Police. What you've done the last 3 years, where you've banned political rallies, demonstration, protests, or any form of picketing or expression is illegal. And I know one day someone will pursue you for the abuse of office that you've conducted. It is not okay to threaten citizens. These are fundamental rights. The PF has tried very hard in a lawful manner. They've never demonstrated. They've restrained their citizens. They have gone to court where, the court process has been abused repeatedly to delay the process. You've illegally changed the ownership of the party. The lawlessness has not come from the PF. The lawlessness has come from the Inspector General of Police. The police, remember when our dear brother Mal Sampa held that illegal conference. First, the party reported to you. They told you that there is this illegal meeting that is taking place. Instead of stopping and disrupting that meeting, you took over 200 policemen to go and protect that meeting. So you can now not, say that the PF should not demonstrate. You birthed the illegality. You had sent your Deputy Inspector General at the time, who went with registrar of officers. You even did fingerprints that same night. What just delayed is that you found a resolute woman, a woman that recognizes that our constitution is paramount, and she refused to change the leadership of the PF. What did you do? You hounded out, Tanji Piri Muhende from our officers as a registrar of societies. You imposed a stooge who then ensured that the changes were made according to what you wanted. Currently, the president of the Patriotic Front is President Hakainde Hichilema. He is a president of the Patriotic Front, and he has a stooge called Robert Chabinga, who the Patriotic Front expelled a long time ago. You will not fulfill the obligations of the PF. You will not remove Chabinga from parliament. In fact, you have bestowed on him a position of acting president, and you've again illegally changed. Even when our dear brother Mao Sampa has won the cases in court, you've refused to comply with judicial orders and the rulings of the court. So today, when the citizens are saying, look, we've reached the end of the road and we wish to participate by demonstrating countrywide, your role as Inspector General of Police is to grant that right. So, Mwantu Wakwalesa, God bless you. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Let's hear what Kapembwa Simbao, former Minister of Health, will say to us tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Let's just play some videos. And this Inspector General of Police, instead of dealing with illegalities, he has not.
Allow us to kill you so that we slaughter you. It's really, we are learning with shock that a former president in the name of Edgar Chagwalu, who terribly failed to manage the order and the welfare of this country, is busy manipulating himself to have issues of thinking he can come back to this country. Zambians are not docile. Yes. Zambians will never be taken back to areas where they cannot access freedom in the market. Zambians will not be taken back to an opportunity whereby even just boarding a bus wearing any party t-shirt was a crime. Zambians will not be taken back where meal allowances at the University of Zambia was scrapped off. Zambians will not be taken back where even just shaking a hand with someone who belongs to another political party, it was a crime. Lungu must watch his steps. Yes. He must watch his steps. I think Lusaka province and other provinces, you've tolerated that idiot for so long. Yes. Bring that man to Northwestern where we practice circumcision so that we take him into circumcision. We take him into circumcision. We are not here docile. People, the civil servants, we are not working. Because under the civil service there was a serious division. Ethnicity was the code of the day. Promotion was just wanted on because you belong to a certain political party on ethnicity. Is that what Rungu thinks he can take us back to? We will circumcise him. Yes. We are appealing to government. If there is opportunity for Rungu to come to Northwestern, please do it quick. Yes. Bring him here. Bring him here. So that we teach him a lesson. Yes. And you remember the time his mother cried when giving birth to him. Yes. We cannot be doing things like cry babies in a country. Who is Rungu? Who does he think he is? Does he want Zambia? Does he want Zambia? Please, we ask Mr. Rungu to consider himself as a statesman or face proper circumcision that he has never witnessed before. He will see us. And to the youths in Lusaka, we are appealing to you colleagues. Yes. Wake up. Wake up. If you don't have money power there, tell us, we come. Yes. As a province, we are very much ready to coordinate and bring the youth there in Lusaka. So that we teach that third lesson. You cannot belong to a party of a behavior and is busy calling himself as a serpent. You can be a serpent, but there are eagles in this country. We are able to grab you off from the ground and take you in the high sky. We fight from there. Rungu wherever you are, as you are watching this is Kokera Moses. I understand very well where you want to go. If you want to die from the hands of President Hakainde Hichilema, please spare Hakainde Hichilema not to kill you. Allow us to kill you. Allow us.
Right, thank you very much. Good evening to our viewers and listeners, wherever you're catching us from. Allow me first to acknowledge the presence of media and also the leaders in Tonse Alliance. I have acting president of Patriotic Front, who's also acting chair, as well as the vice chair, who has equally been acting several times in Tonse. We have the president of Green Party is also the chair or leader of the People's Pact, and colleagues from Tonse that are here this evening. Arising from a little chant and comparing notes, this afternoon, as Secretary General of Patriotic Front and also Secretary General of Tonse Alliance, I've since been instructed that I call for an emergency Tonse Alliance meeting for tomorrow, the 8th of October 2025, to be held at 9 hours. We call upon all members of Tonse, Council of Leaders, to attend tomorrow's meeting. I think it is imperative, looking at dramatic events that have taken place and have worried many Zambians in the past few days, that we're able to meet tomorrow and be able to align a number of things and begin to chart the way forward so that we do not betray the confidence of the Zambian people. The process that is been taking place and is underway of making sure that every effort is put in place to reconcile, dialogue, and refocus the vision of this legacy alliance that was initiated, of course, with the effort of the collective, but under the leadership of Dr. Edgar Chakwarungu, does not die. We are all committed to make sure that the confidence of the Zambian people and the expectations are not betrayed. Thank you, Acting President, Honorable Given Winda. Thank you, President and Chief Apostle Dan Pule. Thank you, President Peter Singamba, Honorable Charikosa, and Professor Goma, Dr. Mkuka, Honorable Ngambi, and many others who are not in this room, for your continued effort to make sure that our alliance stay alive. Good evening and God bless.
The Zambia Police Service has noted with grave concern a Facebook post circulating on a page purporting to represent the Patriotic Front, PF, titled, PF to begin countrywide demonstrations until state gives back PF. Demo starting at Robert Chavinga's house. The content of this page has repeatedly carried statements that border on incitement to lawlessness and the commission of public disorder. As Inspector General of Police, I wish to inform the public that the Zambia Police Service is closely monitoring this page. Its administrators and all individuals involved in creating, sharing, and amplifying messages intended to provoke unrest. Any attempt to organize or incite unlawful demonstrations, intimidate individuals, or cause chaos will be treated as a serious criminal matter. Those found wanting will be arrested and prosecuted in accordance with the laws of Zambia. Let it be made abundantly clear that while the right to peaceful assembly is guaranteed, it must be exercised within the confines of the law. The Zambia Police Service will not tolerate any actions or rhetoric aimed at undermining the public order and the safety of citizens. When law enforcement moves in to act, those responsible should not cry foul, as their conduct has clearly shown intent to cause public disorder. The police will act firmly and decisively. I am therefore directing all commanding officers and operation units across the country to remain on high alert, conduct proactive intelligence-led policing, and take firm but lawful action against any person or group that willfully seeks to incite, organize, or perpetrate violence or disorder. Commanding officers must ensure quick response capabilities to preserve peace and protect law-abiding citizens. Members of the public are further urged to remain calm, desist from spreading unverified or inflammatory information online, and report any suspicious activities or plans to conduct unlawful gatherings to the nearest police station. I thank you.
Lero bwacha bakamba mu kyalo ky'esu kya Zambia ekyaweka enjoy. Abantu bafa bakamba kule mu nfumbwe. More than 20 people balebe pati ni babiri. Bagamba. Fish to arufyanye. People have died. Mumino yabakapokola. The police killing people. Why? In the same government bagamba. Abductions have happened. Magamba, if you're not with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change, big man. Fish to Arfianya Pakumika office. Fish to Arfianya. Why me? Missing. Achani Rubamwaicho and Dizona. Where is why me? HH, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Wachila mo HH. Wala tupwisha benga kutupwisha wagamba. Tatwale kya kulanda big man. Youth. Maana watata. Sabia tuwasevana. Wagamba. Wanesa tuwapweni. Mujala chetu. Itia Zambia. Tuamona mwempwa. Bagao. Tuamona mwempwa. Nama abductions bagao. Ubuteko tualeta. Watulete lama. Amazala mush. No you can take her. Kola ipompa tudeka. No you can take her. Apa nomba bade. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Wakuvota bade. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Wakufuatika. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Wakufuatika fuatika. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Wenyu taya kwa fwe. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Aikona man. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Ika ya kwa fwe. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo mufulo pa mufulo yati kwenyu kwenyu mufulo pa mufulo mufulo pa mufulo mayona batata bayuthi tyentuisule amenso batusendela nomba batwipaila na hope yesu endika chagwalungu watwebela tinani mikwatila plan B nomba tuwalishiba plan B aba mumino yakwalesa bantu banga abalafa mukyalo kyesu kya Zambia nibanga abantu abala abducted mukyalo kyesu kya Zambia bambire kuli jeje banda nibanga abantu abala ba prison abena kitotela kilangwa bonze baba prison n'entungulu kina shimbi muri one government yakwa ejeje abantu n'abafa mwereza ayigata nomba bayigata kuli endika kyagwa lungu atukwatire plan B abakubo byabyo omufulo big man mufulo pa mufulo bilabine batsendera endika kyagwa lungu abano babane mufulo pa mufulo bakuvota bane mufulo pa mufulo bakufuatika mufulo pa mufulo bakufuatika mufulo pa mufulo kwenyu tayakwa fwe mufulo pa mufulo aikona man mufulo pa mufulo itayakwa fwe mufulo pa mufulo yakuli ati kwenyu mufulo pa mufulo HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to Asebana, this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, they fought so hard to put this country on the map, to put this country where it is today. No man would destroy this country because we believe in unity. Bamayana batata bapunda to one Zambia, one nation, and we shall together we will change, and we are going to change this government. My name is Blaze Zambia.